How's it going, guys? Just want to make a quick video talk about this 20-inch Ryobi 40-volt brushless self-propelled mower. One of the first things I noticed about it that I like is it's got an enlarged hood, so it fits these newer, larger batteries. Some of the old mowers, they don't fit, and the hood won't close all the way, so grass gets in and stuff like that, so that's nice. This second battery here in the front is just a storage. It's only using one battery at a time, and honestly, it seems to be all it needs. It does a pretty good job as far as like how much power it has to actually cut the grass. It did a good job at, not leaving behind blades. And you can see I mowed some really deep grass, just almost intentionally to see if I could bog it down. And it was just ripping through clumps of grass and doing a nice job, nice even cut. No complaints there. As you can see, my lawn's not very well kept, so I let it grow for almost 3 weeks because we had such a drought going on. We're finally getting some cooler weather, so it's got a lot of just patchiness and crabgrass and stuff, so don't judge by that. But yeah, it did it relative to the other mowers I've tried. It did a nice job, like a job you would expect from a proper mower. Another thing I like about this mower that's worth mentioning is these handles, the way that they engage to extend the handle is that when they're engaged, there's no play. And it's very easy to do, and then there's no jiggly play here when I'm pulling on this handle, which I appreciate. Some of the other mowers I've tried, I found some play there, and it's not a big deal, but it just feels like you're handling something that's going to break, whereas this one feels more secure. As far as the weight goes, I was actually impressed I felt like this mower was lighter than a typical mower of this size. Although this is my first brushless, most of the ones I've tried have been 56 volt ego brushed or similar. So I felt that it was lighter in the hand, which is nice because if you're gonna just one-handed down hills and stuff like that, you can pull it back easily. To talk about the self-propelled feature, this is the adjustment here. On slow speed, it was good. On full speed, I felt like it was a little slower than I was used to. Not a big deal. I usually don't use the self-propelled feature. Honestly, it's mostly useful for hills if you're trying to push the mower up a hill and then roll it back down the hill. I felt like the engagement had a little bit of a more delay than I'm used to, and it's nice if it would kind of engage more quickly, but it does have a little delay there, so kind of switching between self-propelled on and off takes a second. One of the nice things is when you are engaged in self-propelled, when you disengage, you can simply roll straight back. You don't have to roll forward and back like some mowers. And as far as noise goes, this mower has about the same noise as you would expect from any battery-powered mower. You still hear the hum and the sound of the grass being cut. Obviously, there's no motor noise with this one, as opposed to my brushless snowblower, which I can really hear the motor like whirring. This one, I don't hear anything except for the grass being cut. I intentionally tried to bog this thing down. I put it on setting 3 and got into some really deep grass. One of the things I really liked about it is that when it starts to bog down, you can lift up the mower and it'll recover and it'll spit out all the grass and it'll recover and allow you to continue to push through. As opposed to, say, my Ego 56 volt brushed mower, when that thing's overloaded, it will shut the mower off. Even if you try to pull back, it'll still shut it off, and then it'll kind of flash the battery at you for like maybe 5 seconds before you can continue. So it's actually kind of it's a bit of a nuisance with the Ego. I understand why they did that, but this one gives you a little bit of warning, so you can work through the deep stuff if you have to, without having to stand there and wait over and over again as it keeps shutting down on you. And as far as the power goes, I would say it did a really good job. I was impressed with the brushless and the 20-inch. It was kind of a nice combo for a small lawn. I also like the more low-key color scheme as opposed to my 16-inch Ryobi that I have. It's just a really little lightweight one. This one is nice in terms of just being a little more low-key in color. I know the orange is a little intense and bright, although it is true that this darker color is going to show up more. Grass and dirt and such like that is going to show up more than it would on, say, like the gray that you see on the Ego. That light gray color is a little better at looking clean. The height of the mower is pretty good. The handle, I'm 6'2", so I expect it to be a little bit low for me. I expect everything to be a little bit low for me, but it was totally manageable. I hardly noticed anything in regards to the height of the handle, so that's nice for if you're of a normal height, like 6 foot or less, then you're not going to have any issues there. So you can stand up straight while you're mowing. And as far as the folding and storage, this is kind of nice. You just pull back here, turn this, and then you can get out of these 2 slots here and fold this thing forward, and then it has another slot up here where it'll lock in. So that's nice, as opposed to my 16-inch Ryobi where I had to actually unscrew a handle and then hold on to the other side. And it was a lot more to do. This one you can fold a lot quicker. Although I will say that the Ego folding mechanism with the one big lever on the side does make that folding and storage a lot quicker than this design here. But we can't win them all. So overall, guys, I highly recommend this mower from my experience with it so far. Not only that, but the 40-volt batteries are some of the cheapest batteries, if you can find them secondhand especially. They are some of the cheapest high drain lithium ion batteries that you can find. So there's a lot of other awesome devices. The 40-volt snowblower works pretty good actually. The 40-volt power station is awesome. There's a 40-volt 300-watt pure sine wave inverter. There's a lot of really interesting tools, and they have a weed whacker with a carbon fiber handle. That's a brushless weed whipper or weed trimmer. I love that thing. So there's a lot of reason that you'd want to invest in the 40-volt Ryobi system, and in many ways it competes with the Ego pretty well. Now I buy all my tools used, so I haven't even had any failures with my Ego or my Ryobi tools. So I can't really speak to whether or not one is more reliable than the other, but I can say that they are both very reliable in my experience. I have the 18-inch Ryobi 40-volt brushless chainsaw, and I have the Ego 16-inch chainsaw. They've both been amazing. They're lightweight, you can climb with them, they're quiet, there's no fumes, no smell. So point is, if you're thinking about investing in this, not a terrible idea. Price isn't too bad. It's probably a little cheaper than the Ego system, but you're getting less watt hours in those batteries because you're at 40 volts instead of 56 volts. But they do hang in there in terms of power delivery. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.